We'll go over here to the taxi. Oh, go over here to airports here, and we'll look at the. Oh, it's not loaded up yet. Okay, so let's just go manually. KASE. And we'll go to procedures, departures, Lens 8. This thing is crazy awesome. So if you look at, I got the chart up now. So basically, well, reading the verbal is kind of interesting. All right, let's read this. So you take off from runway 33, climb heading 343 to 9,100. Then a climbing left turn to 16,000 on heading 273 to intercept the IPKN Northwest Course outbound radial. And then to Linz, and then red table 13 DME. Then assign transition, maintain 16,000, and expect clearance, etc. It is a fun, very complicated departure to fly manually with one pilot doing all the procedures and with all the terrain.
Sure, yeah, that's a handful.
Without an autopilot, it is.
Well, with an autopilot, you can fly with an autopilot with this thing, no problem at all.
You can?
Sure.
That's what I'm gonna do.
You just take off, turn to heading 343, select heading 343 on your FCU, and hit AP1.
I wish you were in my pit right now.
And from there on out, after you reach 9,100, spin the heading knob over to 273, and you'll also need the VOR display.
Well, let's talk about it when we do it, because I'll forget all the stuff that you're saying. But yeah, you need the ILS frequency and the VOR.
Well, it's not difficult, you know.
All that good stuff. But I'm just fun. It's funny when Pilot Edge opened up that airport, literally 9 out of 10 flights flew the Lens 8 wrong. It was crazy.
Or you could simplify the whole thing for yourself, and you can fly the Pitkin for RNAV departure, which does all of this as an RNAV. So it does it all for you. So if you
but we're not about simple.
Oh, okay. You want to be hardcore, eh?
Suddenly. Okay,
Sure,
Lens
man.
EKR Lehigh.
You're feeling a lucky punk.
All right, I'm going to save this flight. Actually, I'm going to change the departure runway. No, I'm going to change the arrival to 34. Or sorry, let's do 16. Yeah, we're going to do 16. Yeah, 16 right. So I'm going to change that over here. Yeah, 16 right. Okay, and then we're going to do, we got kilos, we'll analyze, and we'll resave that.
People on a Discord channel here I'm seeing are making fun that the new FlightFactor A320 costs as much as a used A320 from Air Berlin.
Okay, here we go, save. All right,
you
let's
do
generate.
know that Air Berlin went down in flames, right?
I thought they got bought out by Lufthansa.
Part of them, but Air Berlin itself shuttered. I mean, there might be a couple of flights left in them, but basically, they're kaput.
Oh, okay. I saw that they did a flyby the other day, and they got in trouble for it.
Oh yeah. I think it's a particularly dumb way to mess up your career, to be honest, for those pilots.
Was it an Airbus A330 or 40 or something?
There was a
big?
30, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last long haul flight from Air Berlin.
Okay, so block fuel is 6510. Looks like an hour flight time. We're gonna cruise at 360, and
yep.
That all looks good. Cost index today 34 on our cost index. Okay.
Yeah, you probably got a lot of. Usually, what happens why you get such a high cost index is that if you look in the edit flight part, there is a taxi out time. And SimBrief is by default quite conservative and puts in 20 minutes. So if you put in a little bit less, because usually you're a little bit quicker, if you put in like 15 minutes, you'll see the cost index drop down really quite well.
Okay.
So it's really kind of a pessimistic, to be honest, that timing.
Do me a favor, and while I'm doing this startup, maybe just pay attention to chat, so I could, in case I'm missing any of these guys. Ground power on it. I think we're actually going to need the air starter unit. Do you think at this altitude?
No. The AP will do just fine.
Sweet.
The
All right, we're
AP is
gonna
able
go.
to provide bleed, I think, up until 14,000 feet or something like that.
Okay. You're supposed to read Underwood German's comment. Fuel truck call.
Where's Underwood German?
He said something. I think he might be a Air Berlin comment. All right, I'm gonna change it to 6510 on the fuel. 6510. Set.
Captain McGee was asking what the A320 Ultimate will cost. I think it's either $80 or $90. I think it's $80 for the initial beta and $90 for the later stuff.
We're gonna do stairs for the first time, I think, because I don't think we're at a gate here. No, we're not. Okay, cool. I haven't done stairs before, so stairs we'll call. We're gonna load up. It's a light load today, so only 44 passengers. Cargo. We'll call the baggage loaders, and today's cargo we're only going to be hauling 1,500 pounds. It's a light.
Put in more people.
No, this is a VIP flight.
Ah, okay, sure, yeah.
Perf data. Okay, zero fuel weight, 46.4. And then there we go. All right. Back to the overhead. Battery on 1 on. Battery 2 on. External power. No, that's bus tie. External power available. Navigation lights. Oh, we got sound. We got a lot of sound. I gotta turn that down just a little bit. Turn that down just a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna go navigation lights on, and then we're gonna align the IDIRS again.
Somebody says that $320,000 for a real airplane, even secondhand, would be a real bargain for the real thing. And that's true. 320 grand would probably just be the initial inspection, just to make sure that you got a good plane. A used A320 would probably be somewhere in the vicinity of between 5 and 10 mil.
KSLC. From to return. Bear Bass is asking if it's exclusive to 11.
No. Well, initially for the first releases, yes, because we can't target too many platforms at the same time. It's just too much work and too much. We don't want to introduce too many variables and instabilities. But ultimately, the aim is for this thing to hop over to the Microsoft world as well.
30 Linux world?
Sorry? The Microsoft Flight Simulator and
Oh. This plane?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't read the manual.
I missed that portion.
Yeah, the manual basically explains this, that the A320 is kind of strange for most simulations, or pretty much all of them that you might have seen before, in that it was started and developed without being tied to any particular simulator. Instead, it was developed as a completely standalone product, sort of like PFX. I don't know if you've heard that.
PSX,
about that one.
yeah.
PSX, yeah, that one. And then it was ported over to X-Plane, so you can sort of think of X-Plane being more like a native display interface for the aircraft, but the aircraft is sort of living off on its own.
Wow. Well, they'll get this plane eventually, but will they get ortho photo? All right, 360 is our flight level. I'll go ahead and put in the zero fuel weight. 46.4. Oops.
Yeah, they might get. They hopefully will be able to port it over as soon as possible.
Block
but
fuel.
There's no promises right now.
6.5.
And in terms of ortho, yeah, I feel sorry for some people on the P3D side, where they're paying through the nose for things that we take for granted here.
KASE, departure 33, lens 8, with the EKR transition, temporary flight plan, temporary insert. Okay, looks good. And then Salt Lake City arrival. We're going to be planning for ILS 16 right. And we're going to be doing the Lehigh. Do you have any information on an updated air rack? Can we update that now, or do we still have to wait for that? Do you know?
We need Navigraph to publish an update to their FMS data manager
for this plane.
I don't know what this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it's using a custom database because there's a bunch of information that the airplane needs that the normal X-plane database does not contain. Navigraph does have that data, but they've not published the update to FMS Data Manager just yet.
Just yet,
I know Ramses Roman is talking to them to get that on the way as soon as possible.
Okay, good information. Thank you.
It's also been kind of a, I'm sorry, Navigraph, Aerosoft, yeah. It's also kind of helpful, to be honest, in testing initially, to have everybody on the same data.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because then you can be sure when the database, when the procedure loads up, that it's the same for everybody.
Okay. Talking with Navigraph using Aerosoft database. Okay. There's the man himself, still with us. Thank you for that, sticking around during that coffee break. All right, I have a quick question. On the on my stream here, you see the manual, and then you see the discon. Do you know what the manual means? Because in order to get, it's a vector. Okay, so in this case, because I'm not on, well,
if you're not going to be on a network, I mean, I can vector you if you want to, but the point is the reason for the discontinuity there is because the manual leg does not terminate at any specific point. It's just a, from here we go somewhere, you know, and there's only usually just a direction coded in the procedure. So
yes, it is, Jay Patel. Yep.
So after you enter that manual segment, normally ATC will vector you around, and at some point during the manual leg, they'd say clear direct beehive. Now, if you're not going to be doing the manual, you could just look at the chart and compare the ROI point and the beehive point, and look if you can just draw a straight line between the two. And if it makes sense, you can just delete the manual. You can delete the discon. And
that's what I'm doing right in my previous ones, just to be able to.
That's one way to do it. Even though in reality you would not be doing that, you would expect.
Because I'd be getting vectors, yeah. But you could still do vectors even if you did delete that, so it's not preventing you necessarily.
Of course.
Okay. All right. So Jeffrey asks, "Do I know how to drive a real plane?" I can drive a Cessna. Yes, a Cessna Skyhawk 172. I've flown that, and also a PA-28. Okay, let's continue down here.
Did you get? I mean, didn't Cirrus Max take you up? I'm sure he let you drive the Cirrus.
Oh yeah, I've flown the Cirrus SR-22. There's a great video of me flying around the Bahamas doing this nice, 500 feet above the water driving of the Cirrus. Yes, but no landings as of yet. It's an interesting thing to land with your left hand when you're right-handed. It's something to get used to for sure. Okay.
You were in the left-hand seat?
I was in the right-hand seat. So I'm just saying, if I was in the left-hand seat, it would be.
It's not at all different from. I know you have your stick right now on your right hand, but for instance, I fly the A340s, and those also have a stick, which means you have your left hand on the control.
Yeah.
But it's not that strange if you think. Remember a yoke.
Yeah.
You hold a yoke with your left hand as well, so it's no different from that.
Well,
you're not complaining about a yoke, are you?
No. But at the same time, you have no idea how weak I am in my left hand. So I fly with my yoke with my right hand sometimes. Well,
you might need to switch hands during the regular feathering sessions in order to practice those muscles.
There you go. Okay, so let's talk about flaps for this particular flight. Would you like to do a top cat again, or should we just do a one-up one?
Certainly. Well, for Kazi, for Aspen, you would definitely want to do a proper calculation.
Perfect.
Or it says it already have it running. I do, indeed. I didn't close it. So we're going CASI to SLC. We got like 45-ish butts on board. What are your zero fuel weights? What's your zero fuel weight?
Zero fuel weight is 46.4. Hey, Jay
46.
Patel, is this your Aspen, or do I not have your particular Aspen loaded? I can't tell. I've tried a couple of different Aspens, but I know Jay Patel here in the chat has an Aspen.
But you got like 6,500 kilograms of fuel, right?
I've got 6510, yes.
Cool. So we got that pretty much done. Trip fuel is going to be whatever, about let's say 2,500. Doesn't really matter. We got a dry runway. We're running real weather.
We're running. Let me double check. Oh, sorry, wrong button.
Because according to real weather, it's 0 winds.
We are running real weather right now, yes.
3046 on the altimeter.
Okay.
Awesome. Clear skies. Beautiful day to go flying, by the way. It's 8 degrees and very, very dry. So it's beautiful weather to go flying. And it says flaps 1 plus F, toga, takeoff, 430 meters of runway.
Okay.
So flaps 1 and full juice.
Flaps 1. So we'll
Almost
do,
rusty.
and then the trim?
Trim, it says 0 up. So 0, basically. You've got very little passenger load anyway, so it probably assumes that everybody's sort of huddled up in the center.
Okay, it automatically went to DN0, but that's the same thing.
That's the same thing. It's like plus or minus 0. Who cares?
Exactly. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Forgive me as I have a Trisket. Okay. That looks good. The flight plan. This is going to be fun. Okay.
And for me, it's calculating almost the same V speeds. It says V1 between 122 and 127, so 122 V1 is fine.
Okay.
No derate.
All right. If I can get 6 O-Snacks in the chat, I'll go on Pilot Edge. But you got 1 minute. 6 O-Snacks in the chat. I will log on to Pilot Edge. I'm so scared, though. It has to be a real legitimate O-Snack, though. Not just typing O-Snack. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dang it.
Oh my,
7.
you're going to get like 20.
Ah, no, 1 each. Oh, you guys are making me nervous. Okay, so again, a disclaimer, folks. We are now going to be controlled by air traffic control, so we have to follow their procedures. We have to do this departure correctly. Any mistakes that I make, you guys need to back the snack off. Delta 572.
Let me get Tim on the horn and quickly.
Yeah, no failures, nothing.
Tell him to give you a reroute or something.
I don't even know who's controlling, but we're gonna file the flight plan. And seriously, back the snack off of the criticism of John Fly, because this is scary as all snack out. All right. We're gonna be A320 slant. I'm so nervous right now.
You're
you guys.
Slant Lima.
Slant Lima, KASE. I'm so nervous. And anyone that's on Pilot Edge, please feel free to join me. I would love some company. We're gonna
Should I join you?
Anyone? Yeah, they can fly behind me or in front of me. Dude cough, Dude Rasta. I love Dude Rasta emote. Okay, the lens. Doesn't say the lens. I think it's called the lens 8, but on the foreflight it's just saying lens.
Give me a sec. I'll verify that. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, it's lens 8. Oh, scary. EKR transition, which is I think it's called Meeker, and the Lehigh 5. If I have any sort of, if I pass out in the middle of this stream, you guys know why. It's because of the pressure. 360. True airspeed of the A320s for what?
Well, it's going to be about 400 knots if you put in 400. That'd be
400?
fine. More or less. I mean, they don't really care all that much.
Everyone logs into PE to cause a traffic jam. It's possible. I promise not to be annoying, but I'm an airline pilot and I will judge silently. You are welcome to give any sort of feedback in the chat, Cloud Rattler, because
Constructive criticism, of course.
I am not a real-world A320 pilot, and I love all constructive criticism. I'm now on Pilot Edge. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go to Pilot Edge. Let's go to Preferences. Make sure that you guys can hear him.
Quickly, guys, everybody jump on Pilot Edge and give John some company.
Give me some traffic. All right, so I'm going to go over, and I will be going through a slow and methodical startup, so I won't be jetting out of here quite yet. Over on the FlightFactor, if we go to airports and we go to closest to, airports closest to, and we grab Aspen, we can see here that Aspen's on 123.75. So I'm going to come over here to the plane, and I'm going to come down here to the comm section, and I'm going to tune in 123.75. Let's see if plane command works. Set com 1 123.75. Nope, doesn't work. Set com 1 123.75. Nope, doesn't.
Set to 123.75.
Oh, it did
doesn't
work.
even respond.
It did work. It was.
Oh, cool.
Your cursor has to be active on the screen in order for you to use your push to talk key.
Oh,
So
I
that
see.
was cool. So 123.75. I'm gonna check the Pilot Edge map. I think I should go get my pulse oximeter and my heart rate monitor and see what it's at right now, because it's elevated. It's not even slightly elevated. It's really elevated. All right, so over here, I can't believe I'm choosing Aspen for
Right.
my first one.
You know
Lindsay,
what?
EKR, Lee,
You know
high
what?
five.
I'm going to go dump some fuel, and then I'm going to join you on Pilot Edge, okay?
Sweet.
Cool. I'll be back in 5.
Okay, back in 5, Raja. Got some
Cheers.
cold brew waiting to celebrate your success. Let's do this. Thank you, Bird. I think if you type it, can you guys type in exclamation root right now? And let's see if it comes up now. Exclamation root. In a nutshell, does this plane generally do what it's expected of it? Yeah, for the most part, yeah. 130 plus beats per minute. You're not lying, Val dudes. Thank you guys for testing the route command. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get a clearance just to see what's what. Oh, you know what? I need to file something else. I need to give them a little bit of a heads up here. I need to go down here to the remarks, and please no failures. Please no failures. We got 273 plus viewers watching live on Twitch. Thank you. File. I have chocolate and marshmallows for the s'mores after the crash and fireball. Hey, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break out something different than coffee here in just a moment. Lars Ras, type in the route doesn't show the destination, does it? We're going to Salt Lake City. I could bring up the BennySim overlay, but I'm not going to right in this moment. I am gonna get rid of the altimeter. Data output 3046. I'm gonna bribe Keith to give failures. Yeah, we're going to Salt Lake. Okay, let's see if they hear us. I hope they hear us. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Aspen clearance, Delta 572, IFR Salt Lake City, please.
Delta 572 Aspen, clearance on request.
You know, we need to make one last adjustment to our flight plan. We'll get back to you, Delta 572.
Roger.
Okay, thank you, Lars Rass. Thank you. I thought you were asking destination. Thank you. Aspen clearance, Delta 572, IFR to Salt Lake City. And with remarks in the remarks field. Thanks.
Delta 572, currently Salt Lake City Airport, Linz 8 departure, Meeker transition, Lehigh 5 arrival, maintain 16,000, squawk 7167.
Clear to Salt Lake City, Linz 8 departure, Meeker transition, Lehigh 5 arrival. Maintain 16,000, squawk 7167, Delta 572.
Delta 572, read that correct?
Okay, do you guys hear him? Okay, I need to turn him up probably just a tad. Oh, gosh. What I need you guys, save my flight state. Very good idea.
American 791, connect Operator Key Center 135.15.
Alright, let's go over here to settings and let's type in KASE departure ramp. We'll just say ramp. And then we'll hit save. Thank you, Assert. By the way, those of you who have not picked it up, Assert 1 is one of the developers.
Level 340.
One of the developers of this aircraft.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back. And Assert is the guy, the big honcho.
The big FlightFactor guy. Thank you for joining us again. Okay. I've got, if you want to file, I did get as filed. The only difference is that, unfortunately, the air rack here says Linz 6 or something, 5 or 6. So if there are some slight changes, there may be a difference, but I don't have the old departure chart handy to compare.
Yeah, usually, no problem. I mean, it's usually, you just got to check the coding. It's usually something like they've changed some minor number on, like either some magnetic heading or a constraint or something like that. So I want to make sure that that's correctly coded.
Someone's joining us. They're getting the clearance right now. Okay, yeah, I caught all that.
Clear Salt Lake City, Linz at departure, Meeker, attention to south, maintain 16,000, and squawk 2453, Southwest 234.
Oh, we got a Southwest joining us. Thank you. Alright, sorry I interrupted the last part of what you were saying. You think it's a subtle change?
No worries. No, usually these procedure numbers change when they change something in the coding, and it tends to be usually pretty small stuff. Things like, I don't know, an altitude constraint changes, or a speed restraint changes, or magnetic heading changes a little bit due to the trick.
Okay.
Minor.
Alright, I'm going to set my squawk code right now. So I'm going to come down here and hit clear, clear. Squawk will be 7167. And I'm just going to get ahead of the game. Radar's on, it's okay, we don't have a lot here going on. I just want to be very clear that we have that going. I've done my performance planning. I'm gonna come up here. And I'm in no rush. So how long it takes you to spool up. No smoking on. Emergency exit lights arm. Probe on auto. Fuel pumps are coming on.
I was doing a whole bunch of testing here, so it might take me a little bit of time to get all set up.
By the way, Jay Patel, I'm not running 4K, so.
I had the Pilot Edge plugin pulled out, so I need to put that in.
Do you have the new one with the ground clamping?
I think I do.
Okay.
That doesn't really matter. It's not. It doesn't really work all that well, to be honest.
Works great for all my group flights. If we all have the same client, because we all have different ortho and different elevations and different airports, but the ground clamping puts everyone at the same level.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay,
well, in my experience, it doesn't really work all that well, because when the airplane is taxiing anything faster than 20 knots,
I just hate it.
Of them do.
I just hate it when a plane is floating 30 feet above the ground.
Yes, but the
it
thing
ruins
is that
my immersion.
many people taxi at speeds that are over that sort of very low number, and then they just pop off. That's weird. And I think to be honest, Keith could have read out the radio altitude value directly from the plane on things like FSX, and well, he can do it on X-plane for sure. So if the airplane is showing like radio altitude 5 feet, just put him on the ground. Or
I just love the fact that this new client gives me so much as far as, like, all my guys that used to float above me.
Yeah.
They all are now on the ground with me, and that
They
during
all
the
sit
taxi,
down.
it's so much better than them 50, 40, 50, 60 feet above me. So I love
Yeah,
it.
that's annoying.
He needs to have a chit chat with you for some constructive criticism, but I love that new client. Okay, I'm gonna go over here.